right, afternoon, y'all. We're on the floor of my living room, so you know it's time for me to talk some shit, I guess. No, not really. It's the middle afternoon. I'm on break. I'm working from home today. I just made an appointment to go get my tire replaced because it exploded last week on my way home. I'll insert a video or some pictures or whatever right here, right now. I don't even know what the hell. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was driving home and was on the highway, and the right side of my car started smoking. So I think, maybe I should pull over. I get out of my car. There's no tire. There's no tire, or there's shreds of tire left around the outside of my hubcap. And I don't know what happened. I think like a flap that's on the back side of the wheel well broke, or a screw came out, punctured my tire. I have no idea, but I'm finally getting it replaced after driving on a spare for a week. It's been a little hectic driving around on a donut, so I'm happy to get that done. That aside, the year is coming to an end. It's really been kind of a drag ass kind of year. Undoubtedly insane. You know, it's always been insane. There's always something terrible and awful and crazy going on in this world. But this year, I don't know, maybe it's just because the past 5 or so years have been insane. I'm just like, it's been a drag ass kind of year for me. I mean, it's been one of the best years in the past 5 years personally, but it's just been kind of dragging. I just want to shake things up a little bit. I want to do something different. I'm going to attempt to do Vlogmas. I don't think I'm going to do all 25 days. I'm not going to hold myself up to that challenge. You know, I'd be happy if I get up 5 videos. That'd be awesome. I think I'm going to hold myself to maybe 12 days, like 12 days of Christmas, 12 days of Vlogmas. You know, my life, there's constantly shit happening, but I also feel like I have a pretty mundane day to day. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to go for 12 days. And if I don't, then whatever. I just gassed up my car. Now I'm going to get ready to go get my tire replaced, which should be fun.
1 hour later.
Okay, so that was a total fail. I did not get my tire replaced. Turns out the person I spoke to on the phone this morning did not put me in their scheduling app because the app is down and didn't start working until 1 o'clock. And that's perfectly understandable. You know, shit like that happens. I work with computers every day, and shit like that happens all the time. But it's for that reason that we also have pen and paper at our desk. And I went there to do the appointment or whatever, or to find out that I didn't have an appointment booked. And it looked like they had paper there and some writing utensils. Very confused as to why they wouldn't write it down if they knew the system wasn't working to schedule people, or wish they could have told me something to that effect when I made my appointment or whatever. Maybe they think it wouldn't have mattered. So still rolling around with my spare tire. I'm just gonna go to another place tomorrow. The guy was like, oh, we can set you up for an appointment for tomorrow. I can order the tire now. And I just said, that's okay. Thank you so much for your time. And I left. Because what? There are much greater things happening in the world right now. So I'm not, you know, it's a little inconvenient. We are getting some snow tomorrow, and I was hoping to get the tire on before it snowed. But we're just going to have to wait and see if the new place that I'm going to tomorrow will be open. I don't know how bad it's going to snow. They always say it's going to snow super hard, and then, you know, it can be 50-50. But yeah, so now I'm at a dispensary. This year, it just feels like my plans have been a toolbox because the wrench just keeps getting thrown at it. But I have to be thankful. The shit that has happened this year has been pretty minute compared to much of my life. But certainly, if the things that have happened to me this year happened last year, with everything that was happening to me as I was exiting education and dealing with multiple physical illnesses, I probably would be crashing out right now. I'd be crashing out hardcore. Like last year around this time, or I'm about a month away from it being a full year from when I had a car accident last year. I definitely lost my mind a little bit during that time. It was not great. Just left my job, was home healing from pneumonia and a sore leg. Savings were gone, and then I get into a gosh darn car accident. And it was like, wow, it was really raining. It was raining the last 3 months of 2024. But yeah, inconveniences are a part of life. It's even when my tire exploded on the highway last week, I was very confused. I was a little bit scared because I was thinking my car was going to explode. But once I saw what it was, I just had to laugh because, like, wow, you just have to laugh. Or I don't know, I have to laugh, or else I'm just going to cry and not want to be alive. So, because it can certainly be worse. I know that for a fact. Shit sucks, and it sucked for a while, but in terms of how much things have sucked within my lifetime and for my personal life, it doesn't suck as much as it could. It doesn't suck as much as it could, and I'm grateful for that I can say that in this moment. Maybe at some point it will suck a lot more, but you know, I just feel like I'm better mentally equipped to handle it. Also, because none of this matters. All right, so now that my janky ass oven is preheated, I'm gonna put in my dough. So, in case you weren't aware, I am a bread maker. I am gonna open my own bakery. I am that bread bitch. I have gotten into making sourdough. I've been trying to make sourdough the past year. I've done 3 different starters, and the first 2 were major fails. But this time, I was able to have a successful starter and make my first loaf of sourdough bread, and I'll put like a picture or video here somewhere. Oh God. What I'm doing now, I'm being experimental because I'm now an experienced baker. I'm jumping the gun and doing a chocolate espresso sourdough bread. It sounds weird, and it sounded weird to me when I first heard it, but it just sounded very tantalizing. Hold on, let me show you what my dough looks like. So here's my dough. I followed a recipe off of this website called Pantry Mama. They do all kinds of sourdough recipes and just tells you about the whole process of sourdough and making a sourdough starter. And I thought I followed it to a T. I added espresso powder to the mix. That was like the only, and I guess I added some vanilla powder, vanilla extract. Here's my dough. At this point, I became very unconfident. The last time I made sourdough, it did not look like this. This looks like really dry Play-Doh. And I was not very confident in how it was gonna spring or rise, and you'll see exactly. Oh, she's flat. She's flat. She's a pancake. I don't know if it's done. I'm gonna take it out and look a little closer. Y'all, I just don't know. It's hard to tell if it's done because it's fucking chocolate and really dark. I'm gonna try to stick a fork in it or something. I'm gonna try sticking a knife in it to see if it comes out clean. Okay. So it's not done. It's not done. I need more time. I'm having less and less confidence with this chocolate sourdough the more time passes, to be quite honest with you. You know, I was just really happy with how my first loaf turned out. You know, it wasn't perfect. I've had better bread, of course. But for it being my first time, I thought it came out really good. I followed a pretty simple recipe. And not having a Dutch oven, I'm sure, impacted the results, but it came out really good, and I shared it with a bunch of my friends and like random people, and they all gave me good remarks, and I tend to take people by their word, so hopefully they were being truthful. But yeah, I'm gonna let it bake for another 8 minutes, or I think it's been 8 minutes at this point. My timer's about to ring, and we'll see how it goes. I'm watching Takedown with Chris Hansen, quality content. I'm eating, you know, because it's right after Thanksgiving. We got a bunch of leftovers. We have an abundant amount of sides, and I feel like we just ran through the turkey so quickly. We have so much sides, so I just made like a chicken sausage to eat with it. So, you know, bon appetit. Hi, Sadie. That's Sadie. The bread is cooling in my microwave. You know, they say to let it rest for like at least 3 hours before you try to cut it. I'm still very unsure of how this turned out. It looks like a giant snowball cookie or whatever. Will it taste like a cookie? I don't know. But I'll just keep saying to myself, maybe it'll at least taste good, and hopefully that'll be true. But yeah, I'm gonna aim to do 12 days of Vlogmas. That should amount to every other day. But again, I feel like my regular day-to-day is just so boring. I obviously have so much that I can just talk about on a whim, but I feel like that's not all that a vlog is. But I don't know. I'll figure it out. It doesn't really. I want this to be fun. And if it's not fun, then obviously I'm not going to do it. So here's Vlogmas day 1, down for the books. Hi, good morning. It's the next day. So it's snowing pretty fiercely in New York right now. It started, I think around 3 o'clock this morning, and it's still going right now as it's 10 o'clock. I'm getting ready to go take my car to another tire replacement shop, so hopefully it can actually be done. I'll insert some videos of the bread. I know I kept talking about it last night, but I didn't show the finished product. So she's definitely flat, very dense. I would say very much giving cake with no sugar and I guess no egg. But I'm not completely mad at it. It took a while for me to adjust to the flavor of like sourdough and like cocoa chocolate, but I think it's pretty good. Like I'll throw some peanut butter or some Nutella on it and like I'll eat that. But yeah, so just wanted to end my vlog and say if you watched this far or this much, thank you so much for watching. This will be Vlogmas day 1, and hopefully I'll be back in a couple more days with more interesting things going on, so please stay tuned.